Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to your science class. Previously, we have finished our first chapter, that is stars and the solar system. In chemistry now, our next chapter is metals and non-metals. Now children, in your previous class, you have studied many things in chemistry. For example, atoms, molecules, compounds, mixtures, salts, acids, bases, etc. Now, in connectivity, we are going to study this chapter, metals and non-metals. Now, as you all know, that on our Earth's crust, there are total 119 elements. Now, in our live class, I would have asked you name any few elements. And you would have given me answers. Yes, ma'am. Carbon, sulfur, sodium, potassium, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. So, all these elements which are present on our Earth's crust can be divided into four categories. And these four categories are metals, non-metals, metalloids, and noble elements. Actually, I should say that they are categorized into 5 categories. The fifth one is radioactive elements. But this topic, radioactive elements, you are going to study in your higher classes. So today we are going to discuss all these 4 categories of elements. Now coming to the first one, metals. What are metals? To understand the clear definition of these, firstly we have to go back to our atomic structure we have studied last year. What is an atom? An atom is the smallest particle of any element which contains 3 particles, and these 3 particles are neutrons, protons and electrons. As you all very well know that electrons are negatively charged particles, protons are positively charged particles and neutrons have no charges at all. So based upon the activity of the electrons, we can define any element into metals or non-metals or metalloids. Now, what happens actually? Now, the protons and the neutrons remain stationary inside the nucleus, whereas the electrons keep on revolving around the nucleus in any atom. This atom of any element, when reacts with any other atom of another element, only the electrons take part. If we all know that, okay students, we can say an atom is electrically neutral. Why it is electrically neutral? Because number of positive particles are equal to number of negative particles and it becomes neutral. But suppose number of proton increase, then it will be known as a positive atom. If number of electrons are increased, it will be known as a negative atom. Now what happens? Suppose during any reaction, some of the electrons are given away by this atom to someone else. Hence, this atom now becomes deficient in electrons, or we can say the number of electrons reduced and number of protons are increased. So, this atom will be known as a positive atom or a positive ion. Any element who is always ready to give away electrons and attain a positive charge is known as a metal. Whereas, any element whose atom is ready to take some electrons from somewhere else and attain a negative charge due to more number of electrons is known as a non-metal. Now, some of the elements are having such kind of atoms who change their behavior according to the situations. Sometimes they are ready to give away electrons and attain a positive charge, but some other time they can take electrons and attain negative charge. Such kind of elements are known as metalloids, they remain neutral. They behave sometime like metals and sometime like non-metals. Any special atom which is totally complete with equal number of neutron, proton and electron, and they are not at all ready to give the electrons or to take the electrons. They don't attain the positive, they don't attain the negative charge. Such kind of elements are known as noble elements. So I am giving you again a summary. Any element whose atom is ready to give away electrons and attain a positive charge is known as a metal. Whereas any element whose atom is ready to take electrons and attain a negative charge is known as a non-metal. Any element whose atom sometimes behaves like a metal and sometimes behaves like a non-metal is known as a metalloid. Any element who neither gives away electrons nor take the electrons, totally inactive, such an element is known as a noble element. We can say that its valency is stable.